Good evening, friends. Before I get started tonight, I'd like to say a little bit about the English language. The English language is really critical when you communicate with individuals, or whatever you prefer to call them. Like I'm saying, it's crazy. There's individuals, there's people, there's persons, there's sentient beings. And all these, the reason there's all these different names or words and definitions is because they all mean different things. A lot of times you think they're the same, but they're really not. One thing that I've learned in the last 10 or 15 years is that when you think you know what a word means, you better go look it up, because 9 times out of 10, I'm wrong. So I spend a lot of time in the English language learning what words mean, where they came from, how they developed over time. I had a lot of time to do that, locked up for 3 years. While I was in jail, county jail in Nashville, I read, took me about 4.5 months, but I read a recent Webster's Dictionary from cover to cover. Most of y'all would probably be like, dang, boy, that was crazy. Why would anybody do that, you know? It'll drive you nuts, it really will, because it's not like a continuous flow, like when you're reading a fiction, or even a nonfiction for that matter. And then when I got locked up in the state custody, I was in a transitional prison where I read another dictionary. I was in confinement, locked down for 23 hours out of the day for 7.5 months. And they said, well, you're only allowed to have 1 or 2 books. And your options are the Bible or a dictionary. Well, I'd read the Bible 3 times, so I really didn't feel like reading it again. And I'd read the dictionary once. So I said, well, I guess I'll get a dictionary, maybe take a little more time. So I talked to my wife on the phone, and I said, you know, send me a collegiate dictionary. And she ordered one, and when it arrived, it was a Noah Webster's 1989 dictionary, or 1889 dictionary, with really, really fine print. It was a photostatic copy of an old one from, you know, back in the day. And at first I was kind of a little upset that, you know, $40 was spent on a book that I was going to have a hard time reading, and it was all old. This is all dusty English, right? And then I started reading it, and I started to learn that they didn't have legal dictionaries back then, and they didn't have biological dictionaries, and they didn't have medical dictionaries. So it all went into Noah Webster's. So I got to comprehend a lot of words with multiple meanings, and I realized that, you know, like I'd referenced in the last video, there wasn't any automobiles in 1898. So when you get into the section where you would find automobile, it's not there. But I learned that in Latin was real heavily used in that old dictionary, where they don't use it a lot today. So I got to learn a lot of Latin. And it was fascinating. It really was. And then the reason I was there in the transitional prison, you're only usually there for like 45 days. But I charged a warden with 2 counts of felony forgery. They were signing the little name badges. The guards were signing them and putting their initial next to them. So I had this badge, And I said, hey, man, you know, on this line right here, right under this line, it says signature. And the definition of signature is a mark in one's own hand. So if you're signing my name on a line, on a signature line, and then you're initialing next to it, you're admitting it's a forgery. And I asked the guards, why you do that? You know, why do you do that? Well, the warden said we could. Okay, bam. So I hit the warden twice because the first one I had, I mailed it home. I got him here. I mailed it home. Well, I ran around without a badge for, you know, a little while, and I'm like, these guys are going to, you know, they're going to find out sooner or later. But I wanted the badge to get out in the mail really good before I, you know, exposed it that I lost it. And they also like to charge you $5 for losing it. So what I did is I took the information on the back of a cake box from the commissary, and I made a badge, right? And there's something that looked like a badge. And I wrote my name on it, my TDOC number, and on the back of it, I put a picture of a Joker from one of the playing cards. And I would hang it in the window. Every time they do count, they'd come by, you had to have your badge hanging in the window. And they would count it. They walked 2 weeks, they walked by this badge, counted it. Finally, one day, you know, a guard said, hey, man, you know, where's your badge? You know, where's your ID? You know, I don't have it. I lost it. Well, you're supposed to have one. Say, I don't pay no $5 for a badge. And they're going to take it from your trust fund. Your prison number is a trust fund number. If you know anybody that's in prison, you put money on their books and it says trust fund number. So if your prison number is a trust fund number that they attach to your Social Security, that's a whole nother video right there. For any of y'all that have friends and family in prison, stick with me. It might be a little while before I get to it, but stick with me. We're doing some stuff inside the prisons right now that it's crazy. It's crazy what we're doing in the prisons right now. Yeah. So they got me another one. And I told him, I said, look, man, you signed that right there. You're committing forgery. Well, the warden says we can. And, you know, so I took that one and I mailed it home too. And the director, I charged the warden with forgery again. Then one of the managers that was over the buildings right there, he was a dick. You know, most of them they got bad attitudes anyway. He called me into his office and I said, look, man, this is a forgery. You're wanting me to accept a forgery knowing it's a forgery. I'm not doing it. I'm not getting one of your badges. Or you're going to get a badge or I'm going to put you in the hole. Under fraud, menace, duress, and extortion. I got that badge. But, and then when I went to the medical prison one time while we were still doing some motion for a new trial, before I got into the prison, I took the badge and I hid it. And then they came by and said, where's your badge? I said, well, it was in my stuff. You guys took it. You should, you know, I never got it back. So they made me a badge without signing the signature on it, and I mailed that one home. So, but that's where I got a chance to read Noah Webster's dictionary. And then when I got to the prison attorney center, military industrial complex, that's where I got a chance to get in the law library and I read Black's Law Dictionary from cover to cover. So it's very important that you think about what you're doing. Think about what you're saying. Because a lot of times you're verbally contracting with people and you don't even know it. And if you don't use the right words or think about what words other people are using, if you don't know that you're using them wrong, you could be setting yourself up. Now, tonight, I wanted to get into, we're already 10 minutes into this. Tonight I wanted to get into offer and acceptance. And then I want to speak a little bit about the postal rule. Offer and acceptance is the basic steps for starting a contract. Whether you do it with or without a written contract, there's verbal contracts too. And in offer and acceptance, in order for there to be a contract, there has to be an offer or an offerer, and there has to be an offeree. And something has to be passed from one to the other. So in offer and acceptance, what you're doing is there's 4 ways that you can accept an offer. Okay, the first one is this. I'll give an example. These scissors. I got these scissors right here. I want to give these scissors to you. Here you go. Well, you take those scissors. Offer, acceptance. That's one way. There's another way. Hey man, I want to give you these scissors. Okay, why are you making me the offer of giving me these scissors? Because I like you, man, and I noticed you didn't have any scissors, and I want you to have them. Okay. What you're doing is you're basically debating why this offer is being made and why should I accept it. Then the other one is, here's these scissors. They're yours. And then I lay them down by you. Lay them down on the ground or in front of you, and then walk away. If you don't say, hey man, I don't want these things, then they're yours. The last one is, and the fourth one is the one that I like. Here's this offer. Here's these scissors. They're yours. Okay, man, I'll take them scissors. But every time they become dull, you have to come over to my house and sharpen them for me. Okay, man, I'll agree to that. Take the scissors. And that's called a conditional acceptance. Okay? And I'm going to get into conditional acceptance in future videos. And it's crazy what you can do with them. A conditional acceptance. Say the cop gives you a ticket. He's making you an offer. He's making you an offer. And in contract, you have 3 days. You got 72 hours to take back whatever you got. If you buy a washing machine, you got 72 hours to take that back, and everything's hunky-dory. And you get your money back and all that. But with offer and acceptance, you're making me an offer, cop. I'll conditionally accept that offer. And with a conditional acceptance, the conditions that you make in the contract can just be so hard for them to meet that they're going to agree. And I'll get into that in more detail in a later video. I might even make it tonight. I don't know. But in a conditional acceptance, this is the front page of a conditional acceptance. Okay, what one looks like. This is the one that I use. It's a template that you can use. You can modify it and everything like that. But so the next thing I want to talk about is the postal rule. In the conditional acceptance, I'm reading this from a conditional acceptance. It says, "Be it known, the conditional acceptance to your offer establishes a common law contract between us under the postal rule, which states, and here's the a quote of what the postal rule is. You can Google postal rule, and this is what you're going to find. It says, the postal rule, also known as the mailbox rule or deposited acceptance rule, is a term of common law contract, which determines the timing of acceptance of an offerer when mail is contemplated as the medium of acceptance. The general principle is that a contract is formed when acceptance is actually communicated to the offerer. The mailbox rule is an exception to the general principle. The mailbox rule provides that the contract is formed when a properly prepaid and properly addressed letter of acceptance is posted. One rationale given for the rule is that the offerer nominates the post office as applied agent, and thus the receipt of acceptance by the post office is regarded as that of the offeree. The main effect of the mailbox rule is that the risk of acceptance being delivered late or lost in the post is placed upon the offerer. If the offerer is reluctant to accepting this risk, he can always require actual receipt before being legally bound. That's the postal rule. Like it says in the definition, it's a rule of common law contract. And basically what that says is that the post office, being an agent is an actor, they're your agent, the offerer's agent. And they accept it. They get in the middle of the contract. And the post office does. And basically what that does is it turns the table. Okay, to where as soon as you mail it, return receipt, the contract is already initiated. The best way to explain it is like this. If you've ever been summoned by registered mail, you'll get a letter from, like, say, Sessions Court or Chancellery Court or Circuit Court, and they'll send it certified mail. There'll be a green card on it. That green card is a signature card for a contract. When you get the notice in the mailbox, hey man, come down to the post office. We got something certified for you. You go down there and yeah, okay, I'm here. Yeah, we got this thing for you here. Sign it right here. That green card, when you sign that, you're going to sign a contract before you even look at it, before you even open it up, before you even know what it's about. They put that on the back of the letter most of the time so that the front isn't obstructed. And that's usually how you'll see it. You're not thinking about it, so you go ahead and sign it. There's a signature box on the green card. The green card's like a postcard. You're going to sign it. They're going to tear it off. They're going to mail it back to the offerer. And that's a signature card. When you look in the signature box, there's going to be two boxes that are checked. One's going to say addressee, and the other one's going to say addressee's agent. So, and this happens a lot of times when you send stuff certified mail to, like, say, judges. Their clerk signs it as the agent, and an agent is an actor. They're acting as if they're the judge. Wait till you see where we go with this. Now, if you don't show up, you've signed a contract when you get that registered mail. And it's going to say, we request you to appear, and on this date in this courtroom, blah, blah, blah. regarding this whatever. And if you don't go there, you're going to lose. The judge is going to create a default judgment because you contracted to be there and you're not. So you're going to lose. And the reason that they can get away with that is because you signed a contract saying you're going to show up. Just like I said in the ticket, the example I made of the ticket's not an admission of guilt when you sign it. It's a contract. And you're agreeing to show up. When you don't show up, they file a capias and have you arrested. Why? Because you bogged out on the contract. You know, you reneged on the contract. So that's a common law contract, the conditional acceptance. And I intend to get into the conditional acceptance in these videos. It's crazy what you can do with this, because the same thing that they're using on you, you can use on them. I've had a few people say, you know, I'm not trying to be nosy or nothing, but how'd you get your millions? That's exactly how I got it. Conditional acceptance and contracts. So it said it's a common law contract when you do these. There's a couple pages in Black's Law under the heading of common law. And common law, I'll just read a brief little bit of it here. Common law, as distinguished from the Roman law and the modern civil law, the canon law, and other systems, the common law is that body of law and juristic theory which was originated, developed, and formulated, and is administered in England, and has obtained among most of the states and people of Anglo-Saxon stock. Did you get that, black guys? Common law is for whitey. Yeah, you can about buck out of everything they're doing just by saying, hey, man, you know, this is common law court, man. You know, I'm a black guy. That applies to Anglo-Saxons, man. That applies to whitey. So it goes on to say, as distinguished from law created by the enactment of legislatures, the common law comprises the body of those principles and rules of action relating to the government and security of the persons and property, which derive their authority solely from usage and customs of immemorial and antiquity, or from the judgments and decrees, the court recognizing, affirming, and enforcing such usage and customs. And in this sense, particularly the ancient unwritten laws of England. Okay. It's common law. Everything's common law. Any reference to case law is common law. So that's where we're at with that. And I'm going to get into some more videos. I just wanted to break that down because that's the essentials, knowing what I'm getting ready to start into, and that's the conditional acceptance. How to conditionally accept an offer, and by those conditional acceptances and the Postal rule, you can put their money in your pocket. All right, brothers. Peace.